So Logan intentionally made these plates a little bit bigger than they needed to be. And anywhere that we had to drill through, we were going to try to put stainless. But it's really not that rusted. I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Our life rarely goes as planned, and this story is no different. But we are determined to rebuild our beautiful steel boat, even stronger than she was before. And we're bringing you along with us.
So yeah, there's a few things that we have to get rid of. There's this annoying electric panel here. We're gonna get rid of this. I've removed all the stuff here, and you can see how badly rusted that is. So that's not a big deal to fix.
So one of the conundrums that we have with this tent that we made is that when we pull the ends up, the wind just like whistles through there, and it's supposed to be pretty windy today. It's supposed to be like 45 knots on the other side of the island and up to, I think, 25 in here. So the reason that we're pulling the sides up is because we need ventilation with the welding that's going on. And it's just a constant battle when it's windy of trying to figure out if the wind is gonna pull the poly out of the roof if we let it blow through, or if it's okay, if we should figure out a new way of ventilating, or if we should just stick with having the sides up. It's fine right now, but it was just pretty windy. You can see here that it's blown that whole side over. It usually sits right on the edge of the cement there, the concrete, but blown over.
I think we'll just leave it like this without pulling the front up.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's actually creating like a bit of a vacuum in here.
Okay.
Like it's funneling all the air through not too bad without totally messing things up.
Right now, it was blowing pretty good a minute ago.
Yeah, I know, it blew all this over already.
Yeah.
But I mean...
Maybe it won't come back?
Yeah.
Is that what you're hoping?
Yeah, and I think it'll actually help extract the smoke instead of it just kind of having a pocket to linger in up top.
Okay. So what's next, Logan?
What's up?
What's next?
We gotta cut out these rusty patches and template them. We have some grinding to do. I think we'll do it all at once though. We have a bunch of holes that need welded up, and we have that cockpit drain.
So right now you're prepping to cut those holes out and refill them? Well, we're on to fitting the last of the patches that are going into the cockpit. And now I'm just going to clean them up, and then we're going to try to fit them in. Once all that is done, we can move on to doing a few more things, like we have to weld on some new fair leads. We have to make some new bollards. And then once that's done, cockpit's done as far as the welding goes. And that's most of the oh no, that's not true. Once that's done, we also have to move the cockpit drains. And I think that's the last of the welding that has to go on inside the cockpit. The only other welding that we really have to do on the boat is putting back on the stanchions and doing a couple of things up at the chain locker still. We still have to put vents into the chain locker. So yeah, we're getting there. We're not that far away from being done with the welding projects. And then it's mostly paint and interior stuff. Oh, and checking the water tank, which may or may not be a big welding project. We won't know until till we look inside and see what the rust situation's like. So anyway, I'm good to get to working on those patches and getting them ready to fit. It's really nice having these two holes next to each other because, as you saw, I can just like reach my hand through instead of having to crawl down into the cubby here in order to like mark the back of it to figure out where I need to take material off. Figure out where the overlap is. So yeah, that's kind of fun. You can probably see that there's actually 3 holes. So there's this one, and this one. This one we were thinking about replacing with a stainless steel plate because it's our manual bilge pump and we're not moving it. This one is actually staying where it is. But we have to drill through in order to mount the bilge pump, and we don't want to have anything drilled through the boat because there's rust every time you drill through a steel boat. So our plan was to like fill every hole that we could, and then anywhere that we had to drill through we were going to try to put stainless, but it's really not that rusted. The only issue is like one spot has a bit of cratering because of like being rusted, but we should be able to paint it up well enough and it shouldn't be an issue. And if it is an issue again, it's very visible, so it should be pretty easy to fix. So we're just going to clean that up, paint it. These ones we're going to put new plates in, and we're gonna move that stuff like we were talking about. So yeah, that's what's going on here in case you're wondering. And I'm gonna go down below and cut some plates. That was the good stuff. Perfect.
Nice. I'll hit it with the grinder in a few places, throw in a few welds, and then I'll do the rest of the grinding.
Whatever pickles your cucumber.
I don't even know where they found you, Taryn.
What do you mean they? You're the one who found me.
I know.
No, but I keep things interesting. And that's what matters, right? The answer to that question is yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I am building a cleat.
Oh.
We're trying to. I think that's close enough.
Okay.
There for that.
Hey man. Hi buddy. That wind we were worried about did eventually return. Our first prototype pre-welding because the welder's up on the boat. Doesn't look too bad though, that's for sure. I think it'll work well and look pretty good once it's all welded up and on there.
Yeah. What, when you buy them?
So today we've got a little bit of extra help on the boat. We've got Marty with us, and you guys will remember Marty if you've watched any of our other adventure videos, because he has a boat and we've been on it with him, and we spent the whole 6 months pretty much that we were on the water with Una, with Marty and May. So he's gonna help us sand some stuff today, which is pretty awesome because, you know, we haven't gotten to any of the sanding of the paint that we've got to redo yet, so he's on that job. Lucky guy. Oh, he says it's better than painting, so yeah. We're gonna get you back for that one too, right? No. He refuses to paint. Fair enough. We're gonna keep working on the cockpit today, I think. We've got the palm sander here, starting with the 80 grit to get off the 1-part paint. It's on the side of the hull. Ugh. So pretty much all the way along here. 'Cause that's all gonna be repainted. A fun, fun time. Alright, so today while Marty is working on sanding the side of the boat, Logan and I are in the cockpit trying to finish off the rest of the holes that are on the port side and in the center. That means that there is a lot of die grinding that has to go on, as well as welding. We have to weld the port side with the way the welder is right now, and then once the port side is done, the welder needs to be taken off of the boat so that we can access the rest of the holes that are on the transom, essentially, or like the back of the cockpit. A lot of those holes also need to be accessed through a hatch, and they need to have more of the paint and the foam taken off. So that's my job today, is kind of doing all the finessing so that they're ready for the welding to happen. But that also means that we have the conundrum of the fact that we've lost where our welder's sitting. So we're back to hopefully using the zoom boom to move the welder around. For some reason Logan figured that using the shop truck and the crane would be easier than using the zoom boom. Doesn't seem like that's been true so far, so I think we're switching back to the zoom boom, but I'm not sure if it's going to run or not yet. That's always the issue, or potential issue, with any equipment that isn't ours, is that next time we go to use it, it might not be running, and then it might be a day and a half trying to fix the thing. So we're still very appreciative to have the opportunity to use any of this equipment and not have to pay an arm and a leg every time we want to use anything or problem solve, but that's just the reality of the situation, is sometimes it involves a lot more work than we expected. That's the deal today, is trying to get these holes welded up so that we can be almost done, at least 2/3 of the cockpit holes, and then we can start putting things back in or moving things around. Like the shore power cord needs to go in a different place. We've got to put those buttons somewhere else. And then we can move on to the starboard side as well.
You want to make sure that the straps are all good.
Okay. There was a lot of moving the crane back and forth and up and down before we finally got anywhere with it.
What am I hitting above you? Am I into the...
You're hitting this.
Is that it?
Yeah.
The front wheels got on.
Nothing, they're on top of the thing now.
Can you spin it so that it's pointed at the truck the other way? do that again.
There's the welder, hanging out in space. Well, as you can see, Logan got the zoom boom running, or the man lift, and as suspected, he had to do quite a bit of work to get it running. It took a little bit of time. It's definitely going to work a lot better than using the crane like we were trying to, so it was worth the little bit of extra effort. It didn't take that long. How long did it take you to get it running?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah, so that's not bad. But anyway, a little bit of extra time, but definitely worth it. And he loaded the whole welder in there before I could get a chance to film it. So the welder's already in the basket, but...
I was on a roll.
Literally, because you rolled the machine over here. It happened.
I was too busy rocking out to Megadeth.
You were rocking out to Megadeth?
No, you were too busy. You
Wasn't-
didn't hear me come over.
I did hear you, but I didn't think you were going to do it that fast. Also, I wasn't listening to Megadeth. I would never listen to Megadeth.
It's your turn.
So we have all the holes back there except for 3 filled in that we're going to fill in. The reason that we didn't get to the other 3 was mostly that one of them has epoxy in it still, and we have to figure out a way to get the epoxy out so that we don't burn it while we're welding, because nobody needs that. And the other 2 are just beside it, so it just made sense to kind of do them all at the same time. Logan also has to do a little bit of pad welding. Could be me, but it'll be Logan doing pad welding around one of the stanchions that's still left back there, which is right beside where the hole is. So that's all in the same area. That's all got to get done, and then that'll be it. But it's almost 4 o'clock, and May and Marty and Jennifer are still here, and we want to socialize with them a little bit. So, you know, instead of finishing the job like grown-ups would do, we're just going to go hang out for a bit. Anyway, we made some good progress today. It was amazing having Marty here because he sanded so much of the port side of the boat, got so much of the 1-part paint sanded out, and that's a huge help. We don't want to do it, and he's really good at it, actually. He did a really good job, better than I would have done for sure. I don't mind painting, but I don't love sanding, so it's really nice that somebody else decided that they would do some of that for us. Looking good, feeling good about it, and we will be back here tomorrow to continue on with what we're doing.
Pretty rough putting it back up. Plastic headlight. Find that
Good stick, Max.
Is that a stick? Max, can I see your
all
stick?
together just in
Come here. Oh, nice stick, Max. That's a good stick. Come here. Alright, so this is where the welder ended up last night. We had this big conundrum of trying to figure out where to put the welder, because the issue is that the camera's crooked. We need the welder as close as we can get it to the area that we're in, like you guys saw. It's still crooked. Come on. But not only do we need it up there, but we need it to not be in the way of like getting into things. Oh, of course. So we used the man lift because we couldn't get it where we needed it with the shop crane. And that was the whole thing, trying to get that started and running. But the issue with the man lift is that it sits like a few inches off the ground. So if we need to put it in the man lift, we need to lift it like a few feet to actually get it into the man lift, and it's so heavy that we can't do that by hand. So we rigged up this thing to put the welder up in the air so that it's easier to get it back in the man lift. But it was this whole debate and whole like debacle trying to figure out where we were going to put it. And of course, when we went to move it to load the welder into the basket, the lift wouldn't work. But Logan did get it fixed and we got the job done. So this week was not the most exciting week. Obviously, it's just a bunch of small projects, but it's all those small projects that really, you know, make the big difference. It's like when you're working on a boat, prep work is like 2/3 of it. And that's not very nice to show on camera. It's pretty freaking boring, but it's what it is. And we're always here trying to give you an accurate depiction of what it's like working on a boat. So that's what we're doing this week. So I also got inside the starboard cockpit area where we have to take all those other little bits out. We have to take a winch off of that side, unfortunately, because there's quite a bit of rust underneath it, and possibly the second winch, but I haven't gotten to that one yet. So there's definitely more work to be done, but we are getting closer and closer to actually being able to paint the interior and do the second round of spray foaming, and then starting to get ready to sand all the paint, the one part off, repaint the cockpit. Logan's very loud. And sandblast all of the steel work that we did on the outside and get it ready for paint. So yeah, that light at the end of the tunnel is definitely getting brighter and brighter every day, and I'm stoked about it. So thanks for sticking with us. Special thanks to our patrons for sticking with us and helping us through all of these projects with your extra encouragement and your comments and your help. And special thanks to Marty this week too for coming out and actually giving us some physical labor, because, you know, that makes a huge difference. And we'll see you guys next week.